Welcome back to the poker vlog. This is episode 102. Next meetup game is going to be September 3rd here in Las Vegas. It's going to be Tuesday at the South Point at 3 p.m. We're going to be playing some 2-5. So if you're in town, come hang out with Andrew and me. But this episode, we play a meetup game on the East Coast. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get started. Time to go to Maryland Live for our second meetup game there. We broke a record with 22 tables of 3-5 last time, so I'm excited to see what's in store this trip. Check into my hotel room. It's nice and modern. Then the next day I go to the gym. I've got to maintain this Gumby-shaped body somehow. After that, I stuff my face at the Prime Rib restaurant. There's nothing I love to eat more than a good steak. Finally, it's meetup game time. We have the whole first floor filled with people who watch the poker vlogs. We get 21 tables of 3-5 total, one shy of the record, but it's an amazing turnout. I buy in for the maximum, which is 1,000. We get rolling. The first hand we'll go over, I pick up pocket jacks in the small blind. Player in middle position raises to 20. He has a short stack. The button calls. My hand is good enough to raise. I 3-bet to 100. Hoping to get it in right now with a preflop raiser, but that doesn't happen. He just flats, leaving himself with 100 behind. The button folds. We're heads up. The flop comes Jack 10-3 with 2 hearts. It's a pretty good flop for us. I don't want to scare the opponent off, who has less than a half pot size bet left in his stack, so I give him some rope and I check. He knows exactly what to do with that rope. He jams. Easy decision. I call. The player turns over pocket 7, so he's drawing nearly dead. The turn is a queen. We have this one locked up. The river is another 3. We make a boat and begin the session on the right foot. It gets even better as I'm delivered a victory beer from a guy named Nidus. I switch tables, then I pick up pocket jacks again. There's a button straddle, and here the small blind acts first. He raises to 30. He should have a very tight range since he's going to play the entire hand out of position and there are 8 other players left to act behind him. For that reason, I should be flatting with jacks. That's not what I do. I 3-bet to 100, folds back to the small blind. He puts in a 4-bet to 280. This is incredibly strong. I should have a very narrow 3-bet range and he's telling me that his hand is better. He may just flat with ace-king, so I put him on aces or kings. Getting a little more than 2-1 on a call. If I flop a jack, I'll likely be able to stack the opponent, but that's tough to do, especially twice in an hour. Folding's probably the best option, but I call. Flop comes ace-queen-4 with 2 spades. It's about as bad as it gets. The opponent checks. Feels like a trap. I'm not falling for it. I check back. The turn is an 8. The opponent bets 190. I fold immediately, and I'm shown the nuts. He's got aces. Before I can even finish typing the notes in on that hand, I pick up pocket 10s in the small blind. A player in middle position raises to 25. Not able to pay attention to all the preflop action because I'm distracted, but I call, and so do a few other players. The flop comes 8-6-5 with 2 diamonds. We've got an overpair. Checks to the preflop raiser. He bets 95. I call. The big blind raises to 275. He's check raised flops a few times since I've been here. He can't always have it. There are a ton of draws out there, and the fact that I don't have the 10 of diamonds makes it a lot more likely that he has a combo draw. The middle position player folds. I only have 500 left in my stack. I rip it in. The big blind calls with 9-7 offsuit for the straight. It turns out that he does always have it.
7. Oh, you have straight. 10 ball?
Straight, yeah.
All right, nice hand.
We didn't win that one, and we take a one-way trip to Paintown. As you can see, Paintown is right here. It's a place that I think I subconsciously like because I've been going there every day. If someone doesn't take me there, then I've been taking myself. And then here they have Valley of They Always Have It that shares similar features as Paintown, but a little bit different. And then over here, this is Brentwood, California. This is where bankrolls go to die. Then I Always Have It Heights. Never actually been here. I hear it's nice. This is top of the graph peak up here. Usually I'm in this area, or at least I have been in the last couple years. I tried to build a permanent residence here, but unfortunately a Category 5 hurricane has destroyed that house, and there's a lot of recovery work that needs to be done. After rebuying for another 1,000, we play a $25 bomb pot and pick up ace-queen offsuit on the button. Flop comes ace-king deuce with 2 diamonds. We have top pair. Small blind leads for 25. It's a small bet. Middle position player raises to 150. Not like my hand quite so much anymore. Now the hijack puts in a 3rd bet. He makes it 400. My decision becomes a lot easier. I fold. The middle position player and the hijack get it all in against each other. One has ace deuce and the other has pocket kings. These bomb pots can be pretty dangerous. Next I'm dealt ace 4 offsuit on the button. I open to 15. The big blind calls. The flop comes queen 9-6 with 2 spades. The big blind checks. I bet 15. Maybe I can get some small pocket pairs and better ace highs to fold. If not, I can barrel when more spades fall. The big blind calls. The turn is a 5. The big blind checks. I check. The river is the king of spades. The big blind leads for 35. I have blockers to the nuts, and I played this so far like I have an ace-high flush draw, so I go with it and raise to 120. That doesn't end up working too well. The opponent snap calls with 8-5 of spades. He actually does have a flush and gets some Bradley dollars. I'm definitely tilted about how this day is going. When that happens, my mistakes tend to compound. Go to a new table where I've got queen 9 suited under the gun +1. I open to 15. This is too wide of an open from this position. The big blind calls, we're heads up. The flop is ace 10-5 rainbow with 1 diamond. The big blind checks. I should have a lot more strong aces in my range than the big blind, so I bet 20. If I get called, there are plenty of good cards for me on the turn, like any king, jack, 8, or any diamond. Queen or 9 wouldn't be too bad either. I do get called. The turn is the 4 of diamonds. We pick up a flush draw. The big blind checks again. This is one of those cards that gives me another opportunity to fire. I bet 55 is a semi-bluff. The big blind calls, but I don't get the sense that he's very strong. The river is another 4. We don't get there. We have about the worst hand that we could have. The big blind checks. I have almost no showdown value. I unload the clip, fire for 135. Player tanks, and eventually he calls with ace-3 offsuit, so he's got the winner. My decision to widen my range pre-flop gets me in trouble, and I'm stuck piles of cash. The player's name is Anthony. He gets some money, but in return he gives me a very cool 1-ounce Isle of Man Silver Angel coin. I looked it up, and it's actually worth quite a bit of money. It means a lot to me, and I'm sure it'll mean a lot to whoever purchased it from me on eBay. Times are tough for me right now, man. Trevor Savage was nice enough to join us here. He's another poker vlogger that has some really funny and insightful content. Be sure to check him out if you haven't yet. I'll have a link to his channel in the description box below. He's got all the chips. We're playing great, so when we pick up 8-4 suited in the big blind and the straddle pot, we know what to do. We call for 5 more. Under the gun +1 calls, under the gun +2 makes it 55. The hijack calls, I'm getting 3 to 1 and I hate money, so I call for 45 more. I believe this is the first time on the vlog we've ever called or raised with 8-4 suited. That's because you shouldn't be doing it. Under the gun +1 folds, 3 of us are seeing the flop. It's ace 10-3, all spades. We flop a flush, and we're rewarded for playing undisciplined poker pre-flop. What a dream. I check, under the gun +2 down bets to 40. The hijack min raises to 90. I re-raise to 300. Under the gun +2 folds, the hijack is all in for maybe slightly more. We might already have him covered with the 300, but we toss in a calling chip as a formality. We get some bad news.
I do have a flush.
I do too.
Yours is probably better.
The opponent turns over jack 9 of spades. We get flush over flushed. Turns out that dream situation we were in is a nightmare. We get punished for playing 8-4 suited, and rightfully so. We're in for 2,600 total. 800 is what's in front of us. We're stuck about 1,800, and we're getting wrecked. We head to a new table where the dealer gives us king 10 offsuit in the hijack. Under the gun limps in, under the gun +1 raises to 15. Middle position player calls. I call. This is another incorrect action pre-flop from me. The big blind calls and under the gun calls. We go 5 ways to the flop. It's queen jack 4 with 2 hearts. The big blind and under the gun players check. Under the gun +1 bets 60. Middle position player folds. I call 1 time. Big blind and under the gun fold. We're heads up. The turn is a magical card. It's the 9 of diamonds. We've got the nuts. The opponent checks, I bet 150. The player doesn't give up. He's got the heart of a lion and he min raises to 300. This is fantastic. I raised to 700 because there are too many bad rivers that could cause me to lose the hand or kill the action in case I'm up against a big holding that I'm beating. Under the gun +1 thinks it over for a little while, then eventually folds. We finally make a big hand that's good. A nice sized pot is given to us. Later the opponent would tell me they got squirrely with 7-5 of clubs. After that we pick up deuces under the gun +1 and I open to 15. Cutoff calls, the big blind 3 bets to 80. I call, the cutoff folds, we're heads up. The flop comes 9-8 deuce with 2 spades. We flop bottom set. Hard to imagine the big blind 3 bet with 9s or 8s, so we almost definitely have the best hand. The big blind down bets is 75. This is a draw heavy board, so I prefer to get in as much money now as possible. I raise to 250, hoping that the big blind will jam. Said he flats. Turn is the queen of spades. It's an interesting card because the flush gets there. I'm also losing the pocket queens, which is a likely holding that we could be up against. And I'm losing the jack 10 as well, but that's not as likely. Big blind checks. In hindsight, I should be betting this card. I can certainly get calls from hands like aces and kings, especially if they have a spade. Even a hand like jacks with the jack of spades could potentially call. I'm somewhat scared, so I check. The river is another bad card. It's a jack. There are 4 to the straight out there. Big blind checks. I suspect that I'm still ahead, so I try to go for what has become thin value with bottom set on a scary board. Put 400 out there. Big blind considers it, and he eventually lets his hand go. We win another one that's pretty large. We're on the comeback trail. In this hand, we've got 8-7 offsuit and an 8-person $15 bomb pot. Flop comes Queen 8-7 rainbow. We've got bottom 2 pair. The under the gun player bets 75, folds to me. Not sure whether to raise or call. Big bet from early position signifies a lot of strength in this scenario. I'm worried that there aren't any worse hands that can call or better hands that will fold, so I flat to see what develops on the turn. We're heads up. The turn is the 7 of hearts. We make a boat. The opponent fires for 140. I'm gonna go for the raise. I bump it up to 400. He lets it go. I show him that he made the correct fold, and we take it down. We're finally running well. We still have a little catching up to do, but we're only stuck 550. We get another great gift from a guy named Chris. He's in the Air Force and he works with A-10s. You might remember him from an earlier episode. He sent me a flag that was flown in my honor in Afghanistan. Pretty awesome to finally meet him in person and play with him after talking to him back and forth for months on social media. We play another bomb pot. This one's for $20. And we have 6-3 hearts in the cutoff. Flop is 6-5-4 rainbow with 1 heart. Chris bets 35 in middle position. The hijack calls. I call with my top pair and open-ended straight draw. The button comes along and so does the under the gun player. 5 of us see the turn. It's a deuce. We like that one a lot. We now have a straight. The under the gun player checks. Chris bets 240. The hijack folds. I'm concerned that Chris might have flopped a higher straight. Can't do anything other than call. That's what I do. The button and under the gun player fold. It's heads up. The river is a 7. This might have helped me if I were up against 7-3. Chris bets 200. I call. Chris has 4-3 of diamonds. We chop it up, and we're happy to do so in this situation. I'm having fun. It's a very favorable night at Maryland Live, but it's about to be even more favorabler because we've got pocket aces at our 8th and final table of the night. Under the gun plus 2 opens at 25. I'm in middle position and I 3-bet to 80. Under the gun plus 2 calls. We're heads up. The flop is Jack 7-3. Seems safe. Under the gun plus 2 checks. I down bet to 70. The player calls. The turn is the deuce of hearts. The player checks. I bet 150. He calls again. I'm a little worried that we might be up against a set of jacks. The river is an ace. My fears quickly vanish. 5-4 makes a straight, but that's an extremely unlikely holding that we'd be up against. We essentially have the nuts. Under the gun plus 2 leads into us for 325. Seems like he has a very strong hand or he's bluffing. Hoping that I'm up against a set or possibly ace jack. Couldn't be more excited. The player has about 1,400 left in his stack. Perhaps I get a little overzealous and I shove, thinking that people have been calling me down all day. It'd be difficult for the player to fold a set if that's what he has, especially if he has jacks. I think a shove may look more like a bluff too. After tanking for a long time, the player does fold, and he told me that he laid down a set of 7s. It's tough to know if that's what he had for sure, but I tend to believe him. We get too anxious on that one, causing us to lose a lot of value by giving him an opportunity to fold without getting too hurt. I'm mad at myself for getting greedy and letting the player off the hook in a cooler situation. On a positive note, we get completely out of an $1,800 hole and miraculously book a $240 win after playing for almost 9 hours. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons because it helps out the channel a ton. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm happy to get back to you. Big thanks to Maryland Live for having us out there. We got 21 tables, huge success, and the staff there did a great job. Next meetup game is going to be September 3rd at the South Point at 3 p.m. We're playing some 2-5. That's here in Las Vegas. Then after that, I'll be going to Los Angeles to the Gardens Casino. Not an official meetup game. I'm just going by myself. Not sure what stakes I'll play, but I might dabble in pretty much everything that they have there. So if you're in the area, then come hang out with me and we'll grab some drinks after the session. After that, we're going to Houston, October 2nd and October 3rd. We'll be playing a cash game session the first day, and then October 3rd, we'll be playing a tournament. Let's see, I think that's pretty much it, guys. I just did a live stream the other day where I opened all the mail. I've been kind of slacking on opening the mail, but I really appreciate all the stuff that you guys sent me. And I also went over this downswing that I've been on for the last couple weeks. So yeah, I've been getting smoked. Poker has been rough, not playing particularly well, running pretty bad, but I am trying to get out of it, and the last couple sessions have been pretty good. So hope you're all doing well. Good luck at the tables. Maybe I'll see you at a meetup game soon. All right, see you guys.